Welcome to the May 2017 Star Wars Canon Update. This month we got 3 new books and 6 new comics, so let's just get right into it. I'd say the biggest release this month was Rebel Rising by Beth Revis. It's labeled as young adult, but similar to Lost Stars, I would say it's still a pretty mature read. It tells the story of Jyn's upbringing after her parents were taken by the Empire. It really gets into her relationship with Saw Gerrera, and I think the book does the most for that character. If you liked Jyn or Saw and you want to know more about them, you'll definitely like this book. I've already done a couple videos on it, and you can check those out here. By the way, you can also grab the book for free on Audible at www.audibletrial.com/StarWarsExplained or by clicking on the link in the description. Guardians of the Whills is a new middle school-aged book about Chirrut and Baze. For being a third the length of Rebel Rising, it is jam-packed with lore. Lots of stuff about Jedha, the Guardians of the Whills as an organization, and Force-based faiths in general. The story is good, but it kinda has the same caveat as Rebel Rising. If you liked Chirrut and Baze, you'll like this. I've already done videos on this one as well, and you can check them out here. A new crossover comic event has begun between the main Star Wars series and Dr. Aphra called the Screaming Citadel. Aphra kind of kidnaps Luke so she can show him off to some sort of vampire creature who can do a major favor for Aphra in return, and I am really into this story so far. It's very inspired by Bram Stoker and classic horror stuff, and I like having Star Wars go horror, but not so far as like Death Troopers, which is still a good book that I enjoyed, but The Screaming Citadel seems a little less extreme, and it's introducing some really interesting ideas. I've also done one video on this series so far if you want to see that. Poe Dameron had 2 issues released this month. The first was dealing with the fallout of last month's issue, which saw the death of a member of Black Squadron. It uses that event as a memorial to Carrie Fisher, and it was nice. It wasn't too on the nose, just a couple of lines delivered by Leia herself acknowledging that we all miss her. The second issue from this month was the introduction of the next adventure as Black Squadron is on a mission for fuel and necessary supplies for their resistance. They're still fighting Agent Terex, but now the man has been forced into life as a cyborg, which I think is a really unexpected but cool twist for him. The second issue of the Rogue One adaptation continued the trend of the first, and what I mean is that it's still revealing new information about the film. It's mostly a direct adaptation, but these new scenes make it feel like it's worth reading. For example, there's a brief scene showing Saw Gerrera arguing with Bail Organa. Saw has Jyn with him, and Bail has Leia, so it's very likely the two of them met as children. Although, this issue showed an event that was referenced in Rogue One that was actually written about in Rebel Rising, and the comic contradicts it a bit. Not in a major way, and the story group has already confirmed that we should go with the Rebel Rising version of things, and that the comic is shown as more of a distant and hazy memory. That makes sense, so it's nothing we need to freak out about, it was just something I noticed. Adventures in Wild Space: The Rescue came out this month, but I haven't read it yet. Also released this month were a Lost Stars comic adaptation, junior novelizations of the original trilogy, a young reader adaptation of Smuggler's Run, a comic adaptation of Weapon of a Jedi, and a young reader adaptation of A New Hope. Lots of adaptations this month, but I wasn't planning on talking about them extensively since they aren't new original stories. As I started last month, I will now come to the story of the month. This time around, I'm awarding it to The Screaming Citadel. It's new, interesting, and just weird, but in a way that I like. I also need to give honorable mentions to Rebel Rising and Guardians of the Whills. But that's it for May. The Canon Update will return on July 1st, and will cover all the new Star Wars content from June. Until then, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and consider checking out my Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.